In our journey, we have established that the only thing we control is our rational will, our prohairesis. Now, we need to define the goal of that will. What is its excellence? What is its supreme good? The Stoic answer is, virtue, or in Greek, arete. The word arete is often translated as virtue, but its original meaning is excellence or performing the function of a thing to its maximum potential. The arete of a knife is cutting. The arete of a dog is smelling. The arete of the human being is the correct use of reason. To live in harmony with nature, for the Stoic, means to live in accordance with reason, and that is arete. The radical concept, for the Stoic, arete is the only good. It is the end in itself, the cause of all eudaimonia, flourishing. If you are virtuous, you are happy, unconditionally. This is the doctrine of the sufficiency of virtue, which distinguishes it dramatically from all other schools of thought, as we will see later. The unity of virtue, the Stoics argued that virtue is an indivisible unit, like a torch. Although we can speak of the four cardinal virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, they are only different facets of the same rational excellence. One cannot be just without being courageous, nor temperate without being wise. If you truly possess one, you possess them all. This doctrine of unity is what allows us to delve into each of them. Wisdom. Wisdom is the primary cardinal virtue, as it is the mother of all others. It is defined as the knowledge of what is good, what is bad, and what is indifferent. In essence, wisdom is the perfect application of the dichotomy of control. Wisdom as science. For the Stoics, wisdom is not just theoretical knowledge, it is a practical science, an expertise. It is the skill of navigating life, making rational decisions consistently. It is the only science that truly matters, the science of living well. When a Stoic is wise, he never makes an error of judgment about what to seek, virtue, and what to avoid, vice. Phronesis and judgment, wisdom is applied directly in the discipline of assent. The wise person is one who, upon receiving an impression, examines it and classifies it correctly. Is this an external threat? It is an indifferent. I do not give my assent to panic. Wisdom is, therefore, the state of having no illusions about reality. Example in modern life. In the world of finance, the wise person does not seek wealth, indifferent, but applies wisdom to invest with prudence and temperance, recognizing the probabilistic and external nature of the market. His peace resides in the quality of his decision, virtue, and not in the final value of his portfolio, indifferent. Justice. Justice is the virtue that deals with our relationship with other human beings. It is the knowledge of how to act correctly in relation to the community and our duties. Justice and cosmopolitanism. Stoic justice is inseparable from the concept of cosmopolitanism. The human being, being rational, is part of a larger community, the cosmos. The reason that resides in me is the same that resides in you. Therefore, to act justly is to act coherently with our social nature. It is the knowledge that harm to another person is harm to the community and, ultimately, harm to your own soul. The only evil is vice. The circle of hierarchals, justice demands the gradual expansion of our empathy, from the self to family, friends, city, and finally, to all of humanity. To act with justice is to fulfill the kathekanta, appropriate duties, rationally. Marcus Aurelius, as emperor, saw his work as an act of cosmic justice, a duty to the universal order, and not a personal burden. Justice and indifference. An act of justice must be done even if the result is unpopular or harmful to your preferred indifference. Justice is the knowledge that losing wealth or reputation in the name of truth and equity is always preferable to gaining everything through injustice. The only thing that matters in the balance is the virtue of your action. Courage. Courage is often misunderstood. It is not the absence of fear, but the rational readiness to face what must be faced. It is the knowledge that what we fear, death, pain, loss, are merely indifference, and that the only thing worth fearing is vice. Moral and physical courage. Stoic courage is, first and foremost, moral courage, the firmness of the soul to maintain the correct judgment and virtuous intention under pressure. Physical courage, facing combat, is a manifestation of moral courage, but the true test is the courage to resist temptation, injustice, and the opinion of the masses. The role of premeditatio malorum. Courage is the fruit of premeditatio malorum. By pre-visualizing the worst-case scenario, the uncontrollable, reason concludes that nothing can wound the soul, Phronesis. Danger is disarmed in the realm of judgment, and what remains is the courage to act, because external failure has already been accepted. Courage, therefore, is the strength to apply the knowledge of wisdom. Opposite of rashness, courage is not rashness, stupidly risking oneself. Courage is rational and calculated. It acts, with the principle of reservation, focusing only on the effort and not on the guarantee of success. Temperance. Temperance is the virtue of self-control and internal order. It is the knowledge of how to deal with desires and impulses harmoniously. It is the moderation of all our passions, ensuring they do not exceed the limits of reason. Internal order. Temperance is the state of having the mind in order, cosmos. It deals directly with the discipline of desire, ensuring that we are not swept away by the pleasures of the body or by excessive desires for preferred indifference. It teaches us to use things, and not to be used by them. Temperance and self-sufficiency. An act of temperance is one of contentment. The temperate individual does not need excessive wealth to be happy, nor constant pleasures to be satisfied. His satisfaction comes from the excellence of his own character. This virtue is closely linked to ataraxia, tranquility, because by moderating desire, we eliminate the main source of disturbance. The practice. Temperance manifests in practices like diet, not being a slave to appetite, the use of time, not being a slave to procrastination, and restraint in speech, not being a slave to impulsivity. It is sovereignty over one's own body and mind. Stoicism and Aristotle's ethics of the mean. The Stoic concept of virtue is only fully understood in contrast with its most sophisticated philosophical rival, Aristotle's ethics and his famous doctrine of the mean. The doctrine of the mean, for Aristotle, virtue is a mean between two vices, one due to excess and the other due to deficiency. Courage, for example, is the mean between cowardice, deficiency, and rashness, excess. Temperance is the mean between insensitivity and debauchery. Virtue is, therefore, the point of balance of a passion or action, requiring calculation and practice. The Stoic unitary view, the conflict. The Stoic radically rejects this doctrine. For Seneca and Epictetus, virtue is not a mean, it is a perfection. There is no such thing as too much courage or too much justice. What Aristotle would call rashness, the Stoic would call vice, the error of judgment. The error is not in the excess of courage, but in the lack of wisdom, which misjudged the risk. The failure is always a failure of reason. It is not about balancing passions, but about the perfection of reason. Therefore, the virtues are a unit. If you have perfect wisdom, you cannot be too courageous, because your courage will always be guided by perfect reason, wisdom. The vulnerability, Aristotelian ethics, by requiring external goods for eudaimonia, makes happiness vulnerable to fortune. Stoic ethics, with its unitary and perfect virtue, insists that the virtuous human being is eudaimon, unconditionally, even in the worst of adversities. This is the final ethical contrast. Stoic happiness is sovereign, Aristotelian happiness is, in part, dependent on fate. The unassailable character and daily practice. Arete, the four cardinal virtues, are not abstract Platonic ideals. They are the practical science of living well, the only good that you can possess unconditionally. They are your unified response to the dichotomy of control. Wisdom classifies what is controllable and what is not. Justice directs your action toward the common good. Courage gives you the strength to face external indifference. And temperance ensures that your desires remain under the dominion of your reason. If you are ready to embrace Arete as your sole and unassailable goal, start today to audit your nightly actions through the lens of the four virtues. This is the path to unassailable character and the only happiness that fate cannot steal. If you accept this challenge of unconditional excellence, leave the comment, Arete, below. Subscribe to The Hidden Meaning and transform the four virtues into the engine of your life.